Welcome to Mixon Business Mom. We are going to do things a little differently today. It's a voice lesson day. I'm a voice teacher. You know that because I've been talking to you about my business and trying to be a good mom at the same time as doing a business for a few months now. And I want to give you a little showcase of what I actually do, and if you like what you see and you want more information about voice lessons or instrument lessons, including piano, you can click on the link in the description box and do a trial lesson with us. If you're in the greater LA area, that lesson can be in person. If you're anywhere else in the world or country, then we can do that virtually. So I hope you enjoy. The moral of this video today is it's interesting how much effort I put into, first of all, my appearance for this particular video. Usually I'm in mom garb and I don't worry about makeup. I have been getting better at my daily habits at doing those things on a regular basis anyway, so that just I'm taking more general pride in the way I present myself to other people. Also have been working so hard on the way I present myself to my children and the way I speak to them. So I just think it's interesting how it all goes hand in hand. I wanted to make a good impression with this video because I'm hoping to start another channel that has just voice lesson materials, and I also want to continue this channel and continue exploring how to be a better mom with all of you. Working on habits has helped me be more holistic in all of my approaches, and I hope it's doing the same for you. Leave me a comment. Let's continue this discussion about it, and I'll see you on the other side of your mini voice lesson. Enjoy. Hi, welcome to your first voice lesson with Miss Rachel. I hope you have your water, and just so you know, I'm used to teaching kids, so no matter what age you are, I'm really excited to be teaching you, because if you're a kid, I already know what to say, and if you're an adult, it's lovely to be chatting with an adult. That's such a change. So we're going to start with 3 basics of vocals, and this can apply to singing or to speaking if you have a public speaking engagement coming up and you want to prep yourself. The first thing that you need to know how to do is placement. Now, this word means a lot of different things, okay? So singing is easy because all you need is placement. Speaking is easy, all you need is placement, but it's also really hard because you need placement. So what I mean by that is you have to think about what you're going to do before you do it. If you're speaking or singing in a higher area than you normally speak or sing, you have to lift up the muscles that are associated with that higher area in your mouth, the way I just did, as though I was talking to a dog or a small child, and I was really excited about what that dog or small child was wearing or saying or doing. So that higher area of resonance we use when we're doing high vocals like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And we use it if we're doing a higher speaking voice, like whenever our voice goes up for an inflection or a question, or if you're really trying to emphasize a question. So that area is very important. If we want to place the tone lower in the mouth, then we have to be very, very good at our speaking area, okay? We call that speech level singing or talking, and that, I don't know if that term is copyrighted by Seth Riggs, but he is an excellent teacher of it, so I will link him below. And that middle area of our speaking or singing voices is what we use on any given basis, and when we're talking to our friends, when we're speaking to those that we communicate with every day, when we're doing a normal scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. But we have to think about where that goes before it happens. So the thing that we're not writing here on the board, what comes before placement, is your brain. You have to start thinking, okay? So now let's talk about one more area of placement, because we got high, we got middle, we'll call that speech area, and then we got low, okay? Let's talk about that area. Now, if I'm a voiceover actor and I want to sound a little more sultry, or if I'm a child and a voiceover actor and I want to sound a little bit more edgy, I would use the lower part of my placement to create a tone. And again, this is all your brain. You just tell your brain what to do. See, I switched out of it real quick because I wanted to relate to you in my normal speech voice. But I can go back into that voice simply by initiating a yawn. And I don't have to stay in the yawn. I can just make it just my tongue is going down as though I'm prepping for a yawn or coming out of a yawn. But that area, that lower area, dips into what is traditionally known as the chest voice area, and that's where we would sing a low scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, or where we would speak in a low voiceover voice, or like to emphasize a particularly scary part of a story if we're in a speaking engagement. Okay, so that's the first step. You're already 1/3 of the way done with your mini voice lesson. Okay, the second part of singing is exhaling. So you're going to place the tone, and then you're going to exhale the tone. And my favorite thing to reference when I talk about exhaling is The Music Man, because I'm a musical theater geek. If you like Disney movies, then you're a musical theater geek too. You just haven't like embraced it as much as me and gone for all of the musicals in the world. So Music Man is an older musical where he tells everyone in the town how to play instruments or to sing, and he tells, I think the men in the barbershop quartet, singing is just sustained talking. So how do we sustain our talking? We exhale. And this is the opposite of what those athletes that are watching this mini voice lesson would do. If you're an athlete, you're going to try to elongate your inhale. You do this in yoga as well, so that all the air comes in. You get kind of an oxygen high. You get a boost of oxygen. In singing, we want the exhale to be elongated because we have a lot to say. We have an entire vocal phrase which to complete. Let's try one from a standard that I know is not copyrighted. I'm 99% sure it's not copyrighted. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies. Then I would inhale quickly. We'll talk about that in a second. Exhale. For amber waves of grain. Now, a sustained exhale requires us to think again. Oh, there's that brain. We have to use our thinking powers in order to exhale. And it's easy. It's both easy and it's hard. Because if it's a long phrase, it's going to be different than talking. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies is just slightly longer than we would speak. How you doing? Is your mom okay? I hope your mom's okay. Is a normal amount of a phrase that we would speak before breathing again. So when we exhale that, it's not really that difficult, unless we're super anxious about your mom. How you doing? Is your mom okay? Then we would try to fill that exhale. So we want to fill that exhale in with a lot of air. And in order to do that, we probably need to stand up straight. We need to make sure our body alignment is in line with what our natural inclination for the rest of our mouth and the rest of our throat is. We want to exhale very nicely, very smoothly. Let's write the word smooth. Just like we had 3 little catchphrases for placement. We had how do you do it high, how do you do it in a speech way, how do you do it low. How do you do an exhale smooth? Don't let it catch on anything. Make sure your posture is correct. Make sure your stomach muscles are released and relaxed. Make sure your body goes out. Great voice teacher method called the Jeanie Deva method spends a lot of time strengthening the back part of your diaphragm, the what she calls the wing muscles, so that our exhale can be smoother and released and not so difficult. Let's add the word effortless to our exhale. That even begins with an E. We want a smooth exhale. We want an effortless exhale. And this, I think this middle one, because we're gonna have one more, that one is the difference between a singer that sounds good and a singer that sounds, maybe she knows her notes, but she's irritating her vocal cords. So an effortless exhale is what we're going for. In a speaking engagement too, you don't want it to sound like you're nervous. You don't want any extra things catching in the way of your exhale, okay? So now I can't think of a third thing for the exhale one. Smooth, effortless, sustained. Let's go with Mr. Music Man. Let's sustain that exhale, especially in singing, so that we don't have to take breaths all over the place, okay? We want it to sound like we know what we're doing. In a speech, you would maybe mark your breaths so that your exhales sound sustained, and place them either close enough together so that your lung capacity can handle it, or far enough apart so that you sound very loquacious and very impressive. Okay, so that's your placement, that's your exhale. And the third one is my favorite and probably the most important and the longest that it takes to train yourself to do. Inhale with relaxation. Okay? Now, I said we wanted the opposite of what an athlete does, in more ways than one. We want to inhale with as much ease and freedom, and maybe even sustainability there, as we are exhaling. We don't want any muscles to catch. So, in the Rachel method, that means that we do not tense or tighten our diaphragm. What? We don't use our diaphragm? Nope, that's not what I said. We do use our diaphragm, and for those of you that are younger, I'm watching and are like, what is a diaphragm? It's a really long word. Here, I'll really erase relaxed. And we'll put with a relaxed diaphragm. And I'll spell the word in red. D-I-A-P-H-R-A-G-M. Okay, follow your ribcage in. Ready? Use your little fingers. Crawl, 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 crawl to the center of your ribcage where there's no more ribcage, and go like this. You feel that? That's your diaphragm. That's a relaxed diaphragm because I didn't stress you out as we were crawling. In fact, this is kind of relaxing when we crawl with our fingers and we go to the center of our body and we take a second, kind of push in. Don't squish yourself, but you push in and then go. That is a relaxed diaphragm. That's how it behaves. It pops out. When we inhale, sometimes it feels like our whole diaphragm pushes up, but we can train ourselves to be just as relaxed on our inhale as we are on our exhale. Okay? Now the reason that's so important, and this has to happen fast too if you're a singer, you can take your time on your inhale if you have a speaking engagement. Enjoy. That's luxurious. But when you're a singer and you just sing, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty. I wanted a quick inhale so I could emphasize the word majesty. We have to do that with a relaxed diaphragm. Otherwise, we're going to cause those little fingers that were nice and relaxed before, they're going to pinch everything. Following those fingers all the way up to your chin, even your mouth, even maybe your brow is going to feel pinched. And then you're going to sound like this. Who more than self their country loved. And then it gets all pinched. The sound is just pinched. Like you can use that actually in a speech to emphasize a scary part of the story or emphasize a tense part of the story. But most of the time, we want the inhale to be super relaxed so that the rest of our phrase or speaking phrase is very, very relaxed as we exhale. Okay? So we're going to think before we place. Get all of those muscles in alignment that we've learned from our teacher because you took your free trial lesson, link in the description box. So you've got the placement that you want. The next step is to exhale. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain. Playing with different types of exhale is fun, and you can do that in your trial lesson as well. Then we have a relaxed inhale, because we don't want to create any tension. We want a relaxed diaphragm and smoothness, and this is a little bit controversial, which is another thing we can discuss in your free trial lesson. So you're going to take a nice relaxed inhale, get whatever space you need to do so. For purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. So we want all of those things to be in alignment, and we also have other things to discuss. These are just the basics to help you with your next big speech, or to help you get the first few phrases of this song. And then hopefully you will work with a wonderful voice teacher that can help you put your skills into practice more often, because practice really does perfect the skill. Okay, that was so much fun. Thank you. And we'll see you next time, either on Mixon Business Mom or at your trial lesson with Mixon Music in the LA area or beyond for a virtual lesson. Thanks, you guys.